You have seen the headlines. You have heard the stories from your neighbors. There's a growing feeling that your home, your castle, isn't as safe as it once was. For a lot of people across Toronto and the GTA, this isn't just a bad feeling. It's a terrifying new reality. But what if this horrifying wave of violent home invasion isn't just a random crime? What if it's a direct symptom of a deep economic sickness? A cost of living crisis so severe that it's pushing people towards brutal acts of desperation. Today, we are not just looking at the crime itself. We are trying to connect the dots. We will expose the compelling argument that links soaring inflation and intense economic stress directly to this crime wave, and how that same fear is now putting serious pressure on the GTA's housing market. Just a few years ago, a violent home invasion was a rare event that would dominate the news everywhere. Now, it feels like a regular part of the news. And when you look at the numbers, it's hard not to be concerned, even as some other types of crimes are seeing declines, according to the Toronto Police data cited in a global news investigation. Residential robberies have shot up by a staggering 49% in 2024 compared to the year before. That was the largest jump in recent years. Together, 2023 and 2024 saw more than 900 armed robberies, which is nearly doubled the levels seen before in 2022. And this isn't just a Toronto problem. Police forces across the GTA in Peel and Durham and Halton have all reported a spike residential break-ins involving weapons. To put an even finer point to it, a report from mid-2025 quoted a spokesperson for the Toronto Police Hold-Up Squad, who confirmed that the total home invasions were up almost unbelievable 105% year over year at that time. Even as other crime categories like auto thefts began to decline in 2025 after targeted police enforcement, this specific threat to our safety inside our own homes has become much more prominent. It's a real fear that has completely altered how the public feels. A recent poll from City News and Canada Pulse Insight laid it out clearly. For residents in the GTA outside of Toronto, home invasions and robberies are now their number one policing concerns, ranking ahead of both vehicle thefts and gun violence. In Toronto, it's the second biggest fear, just behind gun violence. The sanctity of our own homes, a place that's supposed to be our own sanctuary, has been breached not just physically, but also psychologically. Residents and security experts describe organized groups, often armed, traumatizing families and eroding what one called mid-class safety. These are parents, professionals, new Canadians who did everything right, only to find themselves afraid in their own homes. This fear is real, it is widespread, and is changing the way people live. So the question is why? Why the specific crime and why now? While some point out to issues with our justice system or the availability of illegal firearms, a compelling argument suggests that we need to look deeper at the crushing economic pressure forcing these people across the GTA. Canada and the GTA haven't gone through a formal economic collapse, but you can't ignore the intense financial strain on the households. For the last few years, residents have been squeezed by a perfect storm: stubborn inflation, high interest rates in a generation, and a housing crisis that has pushed the dream of home ownership out of reach for many. When the basic survival gets harder, when a full-time job doesn't cover rent, mortgage, and groceries, the social fabric can start to fray. Criminology research has consistently shown a correlation between the rising property crimes and the period of high unemployment, falling real incomes, and sharp cost of living pressures. The equation is simple. If brutal economic desperation can make criminal opportunity seem more attractive, some public safety experts are making the exact connection. One expert noted in the Global News report that the combination of the pandemic, economic stress, and the mental health crisis contributed to a surplus in organized crime and violence. One theory, as the financial strain grew, it fueled demand for illegal activities, empowering street gangs. Some experts have theorized that as police cracked down on the lucrative auto theft market, these organized groups began to pivot. They saw homes as a softer target. Instead of needing technology to steal a car, they could just use brute force to get cash, jewelry, and car keys directly from the homeowners. It's an advocacy angle, but a powerful one. Economic policy has become public safety policy. When a society allows real wages to stagnate while the cost of living skyrockets, it can inadvertently create a tinderbox. The rise in violent home invasions may be the spark. We aren't just dealing with a few bad actors. We may be dealing with a symptom of a much larger economic malice, where the promise of a stable life feels broken for a growing number of people. This wave of fear is now spilling over to one of the biggest drivers of our economy, the real estate market. The idea that you can't be safe in your own home is a powerful emotional thought, and it's almost certainly starting to influence buyers' behavior. As of late 2025 and 2026, GTA housing market is in a delicate state. It's not collapsing, but it's definitely cooling off. And for the full year of 2025, total home sales across the GTA fell by 11.2%, and the average price also slipped down. We are in a buyer's market right now. Buyers have more choices, more time, and more negotiating power than they have ever had in years. In a market like this one, any negative factor gets magnified. And there are a few factors more negative than the constant stream of news about violent break-ins in the neighborhood you might be considering. Real estate agents will tell you that the perceived safety is a cornerstone of a neighborhood's desirability. When a family is looking for a home, their top priorities are good schools and a safe community. If they see headlines about an armed invasion in the area, their first reaction isn't to make an offer, it's to look elsewhere. It's easy to see how this could create a vicious cycle. More crime leads to more fear. More fear could lead to lower buyer demand in certain areas. Lower demand would put downward pressure on a home price, especially as inventory sits on the market for a longer time like now. This in turn can contribute to a broader economic instability, making the root causes of the crime even worse. Your home isn't just your sanctuary. For many, it's their single biggest asset. This crisis is now threatening both. This is a complex issue with many interconnected parts. The economic stress is undeniable. The crime statistics are alarming, and the housing market is feeling the pressure. But I want to know what you think. What do you believe is the biggest factor driving the rise in home invasions in the GTA? Is it primarily the economy? Is it a failure of the justice system and the bail policies? Or as many suggest, is it something else entirely? Share your own experience and perspective in the comment section below. Let's have a real, honest conversation about what's happening to our city and what we can do about it. And if you believe this is an important conversation, please consider liking this video and subscribe to the channel to support more in-depth analysis like this. Connecting a rise in home invasions to the economic despair isn't just making excuses for criminals. It's about understanding the potential root causes of the problem that affect every single one of us. The data and experts' commentary present a compelling argument that what we are seeing isn't just a crime wave, but a crisis of desperation. The fear is real. the economic strain is real, and the impact on our communities and our most valuable assets is real. Acknowledging that the safety of our homes is intertwined with the health of our economy is the first step, because you can't solve a problem if you refuse to understand where it truly comes from. And until we address the deep-seated economic anxieties that may be fueling this desperation, we may all continue to feel a little less safe in one of the best places we shouldn't have to, our own homes. Until next time, see you soon. And if you're thinking of buying, selling real estate, give me a call. My information is in the link below.